That's not right.
Okay, so it's 6:25. The meeting's called to order. Jack Fernandez is on the call. I'll kind of go through everything and we'll do our business, and then we'll go down the list of the agenda. So thank you everyone for showing up. Better late than never. Thank you so much for coming, because I just have a few things that I wanted to get done so we could be ready for Thursday's meeting. And so the first one would be I need to get the meeting minutes from last month, from our last meeting in March, approved. And so being that Javier, you weren't on the board yet, so
No.
myself and Tina would vote for those. And I did the meeting minutes, so I'll make a motion to approve my minutes. If I can get a second.
I'll second.
All right, thank you.
And I'll abstain.
And then you'll abstain. Yeah. All right, first, second. And then Javier, let's see. Thank you. Okay. And then does anyone have non-agenda public comment at this point? None? All right, awesome. Okay. So thank you everyone for being here. Javier and Tina, thank you. Let me just go to the agenda. It's been a while since I've done this, so I got to get back into my battle rhythm. All right, so the next thing I would like to do is we don't have any non-agenda public comment, so we're going to move on to our action items. And so this is the part where I'd like to review and approve our community member, Jack Fernandez, as a new committee member to the environmental subcommittee. Jack, I did forward all of you his email with his like an application and a bio that he had provided to me. And I'll take this time to let him introduce himself and say hi and tell us why he wants to join our club, the PCPB, the Cool Kids Club.
Oh, thank you so much, and thanks for all the information. And I believe it was Tina and Javier, right?
Correct.
Nice to virtually meet you. I'm Jack Fernandez. I live here in Peninsula District, right next to Point Loma High. And my dad came here to Point Loma from Angola. He fled a civil war in 1976. And so my lineage pretty much begins here. It's all I've known, really. So I've been in San Diego my whole life, aside from college and law school, and just eager to come back and help however I can. Like I said to Mandy, I've actually been helping out with Barrio Logan's planning group just because I have a personal connection to the small businesses in that community. But I thought, what better time than the present to try to get actively involved in Peninsula and in our community, and just do my best to help you out with whatever goals and initiatives you have. Mandy and I talked about a wonderful idea she has around tree planting, or allowing people to basically sponsor memorial trees or park benches, and sounds like it's a reasonable self-sustaining activity. So just really eager to meet you, connect with you both. And I mean, I'm always here also just locally to help with anything that's important to you, now just as kind of hopefully colleagues. I just love to find things that others are kind of passionate about to help our community, and would love to use whatever I have, whatever resources I have to help the team and to help you both individually.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
And you as
Jack.
well, Mandy, of course,
Oh, yeah.
inevitably.
Oh, no, we've been chatting for a bit. So thank you again for
Right.
being here. And I'm really encouraged to have your interest. Tina or Javier, did you have any questions, or did you want to ask Jack any questions?
Well, Jack, thank you for volunteering. And if you could just speak a little bit, I got a glimpse of your resume. I was really impressed. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about your work and what you do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Javier. So as I kind of alluded to, my dad being a refugee, I'm the first in my family to go to college. So I kind of had this unique opportunity to explore a new arena and a new realm of career opportunities. So it's been a non-linear path forward for me, a really creative and exciting one. I went straight through, I went to high schools here in San Diego. I was a recruited athlete, played football, but had a career-ending injury in high school.
Sorry to hear that.
It's okay. No, it ended up being one of the greatest things that happened to me. And I definitely wouldn't be on the planning group or speaking to you now, I think, if it hadn't happened. So I tore my Achilles tendon, which was pretty debilitating. But then I had the chance to go to a more academically focused college instead of an athletic one, where being a student athlete was secondary to being a student. So in there, I started off econ finance, switched to government because I could take a wide variety of classes, and then went straight to law school at UCLA. I was really lucky to have the opportunity to stay in Southern California. And so while I was there, I specialized in mergers and acquisitions, which originally I had no idea what that meant. You know, I was kind of being pushed into these interesting directions just because I was so captivated by business and the idea of being able to create a business from scratch, to finance it, to hire people, to build a miraculous team, and then create something that the world didn't otherwise have. And so that actually brought me fortuitously into biotech, because another small piece of my story, but a significant piece of my life, is my mother having a disease called multiple sclerosis. So I grew up, she was diagnosed at 9 with that. And the amount of therapeutics that were available from a disease modifying standpoint were very poor when she was diagnosed. So I grew up not really having, I guess, the ability to feel like I was helping her in any way. And so when I found this opportunity where I could create, fund the next generation of drugs, of medicines, it totally captivated me. And so I passed the bar. Before that, I was working at a big law firm called Cooley, and that's when I took the jump into entrepreneurship. So just to kind of quickly cap it off, I was lucky to have started my first company. It was spun out of UCSD and the Scripps Research Institute. There's a Nobel laureate there named Barry Sharpless, who's developing what led to an antidote to a chemical weapon. And so this was when Syria was being attacked by their government. There were reports that women and children were actually being killed by chemical weapons. So that, again, was just this really unique opportunity to turn that, a potential antidote to that volatile chemical weapon, sarin, into a company. So I was able to travel the world, from the United Arab Emirates to Salisbury, England, where they actually did chemical weapon experiments back in the day, as early as like the 1930s. And again, changed my life and trajectory. So I'm now on my most recent venture, where I've reconnected with some of my colleagues from the past, and we run a company called Machine Bio, where we're developing a platform technology that allows us to develop protein for protein-based therapeutics, basically the next generation of highly engineered medicines, in a way that's very cheap and very fast. So that's my life story, and I hope it didn't bore you too much, but I try to
Pretty
capture it all.
amazing.
I am. What are you going to use the protein? Or can you talk, like, what kind of protein?
Yeah. So we focus on what are called high quality proteins, low quality proteins, and this is not disparaging, it's just like low value proteins are like the proteins we would eat, and high value proteins are like some medicinal chemist is on a computer with some kind of 3D models, like tweaking each piece of a protein. And then companies can actually deliver these things called plasmids to us, or DNA templates, which is kind of like the recipe for their drug. It's in essence, it's like the kind of the instruction code for their version of whatever medicine they're developing. We put that into our system, and then we produce whatever it is that they are designing. So
almost like a compound pharmacy in a way for proteins.
It's a biomanufacturing solution. So in theory, someday the compound pharmacies will be using our tech. It's a benchtop device that makes this huge multi-step process much more accessible to the smaller biotechs and labs.
It's fascinating. I've had 2 spinal surgeries, and within the 5 years in between them, the technology had changed so much from those 5 years. It was completely different. And even with like some of the kid, from one kid to the next, the instructions, things change and
it's
improve.
miraculous.
So it's very exciting.
Well, so MS is now kind of a treatable disease, which is kind of crazy.
I'm in the.
Awesome. Well, I am so glad that you are here with us, and we all got to meet with you.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead. Tina, did you have anything to add, or did you want, I'm gonna go ahead and make a recommendation to add Jack Fernandez to the environmental subcommittee. Can I
I'll
get a,
second that.
Okay,
Thank
yeah,
you.
awesome. And
I agree.
then with a show of hands, all in approval? All right, Jack, you made it.
Thank you. No,
passed.
I'm humbled and I'm really excited, like I said, to just support however I can. And Mandy, you know, I'm trying to go to local meetings and stay active. So
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
there's plenty of work here for you. So we'll be sure to keep you in the loop and get you out working for the community and stuff for sure. So thank you.
Thank you.
Our next order of business is just the Point Loma High School, not Point Loma High School, the student liaison opportunity. This will be our second season of this. Last season was our first time. We had 2 high school liaison students. They ended up being from Point Loma High School. And as I was telling Jack earlier, and Tina, you worked with us with them last season. It was just really awesome to work with these kids. They've got their life planned out. They're very smart. I was very impressed. And so we're gonna start another season of that. And so the role is 2 high school age students. They either live in the Boundary or they attend school in the Boundary. Last season, we applied, we reached out to Point Loma High School and High Tech High, the administrators. And so we will do that again. And I'm gonna screen share. I just wanna go over the flyer and kind of like the process and just get concurrence with all of that. I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. And then I'll pull up the flyer here. So here, can everyone see the screen? I did share it with everyone, but this is just the flyer that we'll take and send out to, I'll put it on Nextdoor. We'll put it on the website for the Peninsula. I'll reach out to the PLA. If you have any other community groups that you think would be interested or would want to know about it, feel free to forward on the information to them. But it gives them basically all the information, high level, what they need to do. The application, it can be found on the website. It has to be emailed by October 8th. And I already have a Zoom meeting scheduled for the next month, which would be October 17th. It's a Monday at 6 p.m. And they would, that first meeting is basically they send in their applications. We invite them to come. We have a nice meeting like this. They introduce themselves. And then at the end, we make a final vote. Last time we only had 2, so I didn't have to like chop anyone from the final, applicants. So I hope we don't have to do that this year, but if we do, we'll make it really easy just to make sure no one says nepotism or anything like that. We'll just draw, like, if we get more than 2, we'll draw their name out of a hat. And then that's how we'll select them, just to keep it clear. But the application here, it's very simple, name, address, contact information, and then a little information about why they want to get involved. And that's the application that they would need to email. And that, again, like I said earlier, is on the PCPB. It'll be on the website for them. So really nothing has changed with the process or with the forms. The only thing that's changed is the dates, and because it's a new season. Before I go forward with that date, Tina and Javier, I'll double check with Angela, but can I make sure that we have that date works for you?
Yeah, I don't have my phone with me right now.
Yeah, but again, that Monday, October 17th will be the day that they're required to come attend the Zoom meeting. We'll have their applications by that time. And then at the end of that meeting, we'll then select one of the 2 of the applicants.
Okay, I just checked. It works for me.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any travels or anything that week, so I should be available.
Okay, and then I did put on the form that I'd like to have the just to give us time to look at the apps and stuff, that they are due by October 8th. And then we can go from there. And then if anything comes up, we'll address it as it goes. But I think that's all I have now for this. Before we go to, I know I'm kind of rushing this a little bit, but are there any questions or any feedback with regards to that program or the process that you need clarification on? Or
Just so I understand, so there's no real rigorous short list. You'll just do by chance.
Yeah, just pull from a hat.
Okay. All right.
And one thing that I do want to let you know, just in the nature of bylaws, because they're not adults and they don't vote. So they don't vote in meetings. They don't have any voting. And you'll notice, like, when we do, I'll introduce him to the community. I'll reach out to Dave Schwab from the Beacon and see if he'll do an article introducing them. But I won't post their like contact information on the website or anything like that, just because they're minors and we want to keep them as safe as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Can the previous two reapply if they want to?
I think yeah, I feel like they should, because if they don't, like, God forbid, say we don't get any interest, and then we've got Anna or Caleb wanting to come back. Hey, I really enjoyed working with them. And so, yeah.
I think they're juniors. I can't remember, but
yeah, they're still at the high school. Yeah. So I think I encourage them to reapply. So I don't think that should be a disqualifying factor.
Okay.
I think that's something maybe, yeah, like I said, I don't think that should be a disqualifying factor. We'll just use and again, being that we pull from a hat, if there's more than two, it'll not give the appearance of favoritism or nepotism of any sort. So,
that's cool.
All right. Any other questions or feedback? All right. Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve the high school liaison process for this season for the 22-23 school year.
No, second.
Awesome. And then with that, all of in approval, raise your hand. All right, awesome. All right, we're getting down to business. Super easy. All right, hold on one moment. I gotta shut the door. My husband came home.
Hey,
Like
hand off, huh?
I know, these children of mine. Javier, it's been ridiculous this last 2 weeks. Tina, have you had uninterrupted thoughts and sanity reappeared? All right, so the last thing I have is, and we don't really have to go through these too much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, but we have kind of created, very similar to our traffic and transportation subcommittee, we've created a spreadsheet with some recommendations of environmental issues that we'd like to have addressed or tackle this next season. And so I'm going to share the screen, and I will, Javier and Jack, I will share the spreadsheet with you. It's a working document. And so feel free to add to that. If you want to add to that, at any time, because those documents, they'll show you who modified the document. So I've shared the screen. This is what we have so far. It's really simple. I haven't, it's more of just a task list. But if you can see or think of anything that you may want to add to that at this moment, speak up and I can add that at this point. But if not, I will be sure to email this document to everyone. And then, throughout the week or as you get inspired, we can add to the list. And then what I'd like to do is once we get the high school liaison tackled and good to go, I'm thinking maybe November, we could maybe rank top 5 that we want to address this season and be like, okay, these are the top 5. And so we'll rank it. And then that's how we'll address from our next meeting. So we kind of come up with what we want to prioritize and address in the future as well. So.
Well, this is the first time I've seen this list, so I'm kind of, so the ones that were from 2021, those were from the prior committee or the prior year?
Yeah, so those are just the meeting date that we
Okay,
added, those recommendations. So it's very, like I said, it's very beginning stages.
Meatless Mondays, that's a good one.
Well, that was actually the one for the schools.
Okay.
I'll take that one. I'm gonna put that for the high schools or
Yeah.
Okay.
the schools,
You're like-
because at
Well,
the high
that
school,
would have been an easy one for my wife. She would have
is
supported
your
that
wife,
one.
is she a vegan or?
She's not vegan, but she would just, well, in general, we just try to avoid meat, but she really does.
She does, yeah. No, I think, the conversation came up. Our schools always offer plant-based every day. I think the high school kids were
Schools,
complaining
okay. Well, I'm
about the
glad
variety.
I'm glad you clarified it was for schools. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
In the household, all along Point Loma, we're gonna make everybody. eat.
Yep, we're gonna be
Only on Monday.
enforcing, knocking on doors, Javier.
Okay. All right, like I said, I just saw this list, so.
All right, Javier, you know your law out.
Yeah, so these are just some of the ideas. And again, it's very, like, we just started this 2 meetings ago, so we can organize this and prioritize this and address
Perfect.
this as we go along with the subcommittee as well. So, all right, well, I think, this isn't really an action item. It's more, if we do take action, we have it in the action tab just in case, but this is more of a working document. And I figured, like I said earlier, in November, we can rank it and pick the top 3 to 5 that we want to address as a group. And then we can add and maintain this list just like any other working document. So are there anything else that you want to bring up in closing?
No, and you'll send this to us, right?
Yes, I'm going to send this
Okay.
after our meeting. I'll
Okay,
email
perfect,
it to everyone
perfect. Okay,
for everyone to share. And then I do have to give you guys kudos. You guys are late, but you guys are efficient. It's almost 6:47, and
Okay.
I think this is my shortest meeting ever. I think.
Well, there's only 4 of us, so.
I know, but getting so much done for sure. So, well, if there's nothing more to discuss, or if you don't want to add any more items to this list at this time, we can wrap it up for this. So it's 6:48. The environmental meeting is adjourned. So
Great.
thank
great.
you everyone for
All
showing
right.
up.
Jack, pleasure meeting you. Thank you, Mandy,
Likewise.
for running such an
All right,
efficient meeting.
Jack.
Bye-bye.
All
Bye.
Take
right.
care, everyone.
Thanks all.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, Mandy.
Bye, Tina.
And you'll send that thing to me too, right? The document?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna send it to everyone. Hold on, I'm trying to find, how do you stop recording? Oh, here it is, sorry.